tonight, local healthcare workers contend that OSHA is letting them down during the pandemic, that they say they need the agency now more than ever. Good evening, everyone. I'm Todd Quinones.
And I'm Trisha Keene. Turns out there were questions about OSHA long before coronavirus erupted. 13 Chief Investigator Darcy Spears shows how the system could be falling short on its primary mission, keeping workers safe.
My message to them would be shame on you. Shame on you.
Helen Armstrong is pretty direct in summing up her experience with Nevada OSHA as her 6-year battle with the system continues.
It's been a long road for me. I have, again, I have lost everything. My health has declined. It's taken a real toll on me.
Helen's nightmare began in 2014 when she filed a health and safety complaint with Nevada OSHA against her employer, Ear, Nose, and Throat Associates on Shadow Lane.
Instruments not being properly sterilized and sanitized between patients, containers not being properly labeled.
But Helen felt like OSHA turned the tables, denying her the whistleblower protection she's entitled to under state and federal law. In the wake of her complaints to OSHA, she was eventually fired in November of 2014.
I've lost my home, I've lost my family, I've lost everything.
The doctor who Helen worked for declined to go on camera or talk to us in detail, saying we did what we thought was right regarding Helen's case. But Rick Lucas, the OSHA investigator assigned to Helen's case, says the handling of it was so egregious that he quit in frustration.
I submitted that report and I walked off the job.
Lucas says the doctors Helen worked for refused to provide basic documents. When he tried to get them by subpoena, the frustration multiplied.
It wasn't botched. I don't think it was botched. I think it was blocked. That's a better word for it.
Joel Hansen is Helen's attorney. He argues leadership from above OSHA got involved and stymied the case. Seth Isaacs, an advocate working for Helen, echoes that and says a conversation he had with Nevada OSHA head Jess Lankford proves it. As transcribed in court records, Lankford told Isaacs his hands were tied. There was interference from above.
And that business and industry had taken over the entire case. And he ended that by saying, once the employer reached out to business and industry, this stopped being a Nevada OSHA controlled matter.
13 Investigates also obtained recordings of Lankford talking to Isaacs.
But like I said, too many hands in the pot. We should have been allowed to do what we wanted to do.
OSHA closed Helen's case, claiming the agency ran out of time.
It had absolutely nothing to do with timing out. I mean, there's, there was no. That's just not a good argument. It's pathetic.
The interference from above was the last straw for Rick Lucas, cementing his disgust and distrust of the agency that's supposed to protect workers.
Yeah, to say she didn't get her due process is pretty much a gross understatement.
Helen filed this lawsuit against Nevada OSHA and the Nevada Department of Business and Industry in federal court in 2017.
What did you see that took you aback?
Well, it was hard to believe that OSHA would completely reverse its role, and instead of being a protector of an employee, it completely turned around and protected the employer.
Hansen says the state has a legal obligation to make things right for Helen.
And I saw the numerous denials of Helen's right of due process of law under the OSHA laws and regulations that we have. It was a travesty of justice.
He sums up his view of OSHA's conduct in one word:
corrupt.
The lawsuit claims leadership from Nevada's Division of Industrial Relations and Business and Industry intervened, denying OSHA investigators the ability to do their job by blocking subpoenas and directly, unfairly communicating with Helen's employers. The complaint calls the denial of due process an illegal act and says it appears completely obvious that the actions of Department of Industrial Relations Chief Administrative Officer Steve George in blocking and delaying the investigation were because he considered it his duty to protect Nevada business from whistleblower investigations. Helen found no help here in federal court, where the Nevada Attorney General's office argued she did not have any protections from the get-go. In court documents, the state claims that by law, directors from Nevada Business and Industry regulate Nevada OSHA and have discretion to determine if an OSHA investigation is appropriate. Helen says that's the fox watching the henhouse.
I always thought business and industry was to take care of, the problems of the businesses, nothing related to OSHA on serious infractions that happen. But in fact, they're the higher power. They're the ones that rule Nevada OSHA. They tell them what to do.
Perhaps more frightening is the state's argument that Nevada is an at-will work state and employees can still be fired for unrelated reasons or even no reason at all, as long as the dismissal is not due to an employee's whistleblowing activities. Helen says she's living proof employers can find their way around that, which should sound an alarm for all Nevada workers. Helen lost her case against OSHA in federal court, but is appealing to the Ninth Circuit Court. Meanwhile, we're digging deeper into serious claims of conflict of interest involving several cases where Nevada workers were killed on the job. My special report continues tomorrow. Darcy Spears, 13 Investigates.
And this was part 2 of Darcy's exclusive investigation. If you'd like to see part 1 again, just head to ktnv.com.